So, we got a bit more news to get to today, and very fortunately for me, because I honestly am getting tired of the Vince McMahon news. So it is good that a majority of the news today has nothing to do with Vince and has to do with things that I actually want to talk about and not things that I feel obligated to talk about. With that being said, we jump ahead to, or jump over to, NXT from last night when NXT saw some returns as Cora Jade returned to the company after a few months away. She had been nursing an undisclosed injury, as was reported leading into WrestleMania, and someone that has not been seen since the end of NXT UK, that being Noam Dar, also returned last night at the end or bleh, at the outset of Dragon Lee versus Nathan Frazier, and he did not come alone. Noam Dar brought his Heritage Cup with him, and he said that he would be defending the Heritage Cup as he saw fit within NXT if there was any talent worthy of challenging him for the cup. It is something that he held in NXT UK, but the one thing that I would like to point out is that Noam Dar was the 2021 winner of the Heritage Cup and not the 2022 winner of the Heritage Cup. The 2022 winner of the Heritage Cup was Mark Coffey. So my question is, what is Noam Dar doing with what is he still doing with the Heritage Cup? Because technically, he's not supposed to be the holder of the cup. Technically, he's not supposed to be the holder of the cup if his name is not Mark Coffey. His name is Noam Dar. So, but it is good to see that he's got a Supernova back in NXT, and I do believe he is the last person that was kept on from NXT UK and the departure and the end of that company. I do believe he was the last one kept on to be brought in, so now everybody that worked for NXT UK has found their way to NXT, and that, I guess you could say, that part of WWE's history can finally be put to rest, as I guess you could say, all the talent is gone. All the talent is within the ranks of NXT now, and there is no need to look back. There's only now a need to look forward. But also on NXT, a question was answered as to what's going to happen with Braun Breaker now. And the answer was that Braun is going to stick around with the new NXT World Champion, that being Carmelo Hayes. And he will challenge the new champion, but Carmelo is going to be the good guy, and Braun's going to be the bad guy. Braun officially turned heel last night on Carmelo Hayes, and also, as I mentioned earlier, Cora Jade came back, but Cora Jade is officially seeming like the new number one contender for Indy Hartwell, or the first top contender for Indy Hartwell and the Women's Championship. Because I believe she jumped Indy Hartwell and held up the women's title. So it is very likely that she will be one of the top contenders for the Women's Championship. And I do gotta say that Indy Hartwell as the women's champion is something that surprised me because of all the people that could have won that match, it was surprising. No offense to Indy Hartwell, but it is surprising that Indy Hartwell was the one that was chosen. Because I didn't expect, of all the people to win, honestly, I thought Roxanne Perez was just going to defy the odds and win. Even though I do remember during the predictions video, or the preview video, that I basically said that I thought this would be, I echoed the same sentiment as other news outlets that thought that Indy Hartwell, that thought that this would be the way that WWE would get the belt off Roxanne Perez without actually having her lose. But I was just surprised that it would be Indy Hartwell. And, props to Indy Hartwell because honestly, at this point, that's the only thing she has not done in NXT is hold the NXT Championship. So props to her, even though I would say I think Indy Hartwell is someone that could come up to the main roster and could have came up to the main roster, but will not now as the women's champion unless she's given a short run with the women's championship. But I think, especially if Dexter Lumis is not going to do much on the main roster, that Dexter being down at NXT would not be the worst idea. Because it's really unnecessary to have him go down there for one night. Even if you were just going to have the way come together for one night, I mean, I don't know. I think Lumis could do better in NXT than he could do on the main roster, but that's just me. And it really depends on WWE, to be honest with you. Speaking of WWE, though, former WWE Women's Champion will be taking more time off, as Charlotte will be taking time off following her loss at WrestleMania to Rhea Ripley. And basically, it is honestly, basically, it is surprising in my opinion that after taking time off for most of 2022, even though it was justified, don't get me wrong, it was justified. She got married. She got married last year, so it was justified for her to take the time off. And I do believe there was another reason. But, the fact of the matter is, it's surprising that she would take more time off so soon. It's just surprising that she would take more time off so soon, especially in the position that she's in. But it just seems like at certain points, WWE has the issue with talent where they get to a certain point and then they start disappearing more and more often until they decide to hang up the boots. But you gotta wonder, especially with especially in the position that Andrade and Charlotte are in, would they eventually get to the point where they want to start a family? Because I think that Charlotte is at the point in her career where if she wanted to go more part-time, she could in fact go more part-time and just not be around as often, becoming more of a special attraction type rather than someone that is there more often. The fact of the matter is, though, I do believe that Charlotte has earned the right to take time off as she sees fit. From what I understand, it is something that Charlotte will be doing some kind of a bodybuilding competition over the summer. And that seems to be the reason why she will be taking time off. Because she is getting built up for the bodybuilding competition. As she is said to be ripped at this point right now. Which is, I guess it's understandable. And it's kind of random, to be honest. But she was always someone that I felt like if anybody would go do that, it would be her. You know what I mean? If anybody would go do that, it would be her. So I'm not surprised, but it's kind of surprising that within the certain window that she would, I guess. Because it's almost looking like that she came back just to win the world title. You know, just to win the women's title and then go away again. I'm not saying that that's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that it's kind of surprising that that's the route that they took. You know what I mean? Because it's like they called upon her because they knew Ronda wanted to take time off. You know, so it's just like it's just like it worked out interestingly. You know what I mean? Unexpectedly. I don't know. I just wasn't expecting Charlotte of all people to ask for time off. Speaking of Charlotte, though, her husband, Andrade El Idolo, recently spoke about his contract status with AEW and disclosed that his contract would be coming up soon. He did have surgery last November, which I believe we spoke about not too long ago in a past news video. Sorry, I don't know why I lost my train of thought, but he was not specific to the idea of coming back to AEW. He was more specific to the idea of coming back, but not necessarily coming back to AEW, just coming back to wrestling. It was unclear when his contract would expire, but his contract is said to be expiring soon. So it is possible that he could be leaving AEW and going back to WWE, but we will get to the power structure in WWE being a sore spot for some talent and what could happen if that is the case. With that being said, if the power structure is how it was on Monday. With that being said, though, I will see you in the next news video.